Hi, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about celebrities. So first, pause the video and read this Christina Aguilera quote. Okay, now that you read it, think about this. Do you think celebrities can affect people in a negative way? Why or how? Think about this before class so we can all share our opinions. Okay, great. Now, what do you think about celebrity gossip? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And why? Once again, think about this before class. Now let's continue. I want you to please read the sentences here. Can you omit the bold-faced words? Let's check the first one. We love to read about celebrities' problems, which the media will often invent. Now I'm going to show you the second version of the sentence without the bold-faced part. We love to read about celebrities' problems. Can you understand this sentence? Yes, right? We can still understand the sentence. The other part was just extra information. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. There are even shows that pay for plastic surgery. Now, let's see the second version. There are even shows. Can you understand that sentence, or is it missing something essential? That's right. This one we cannot understand because we are missing essential or very important information. Great. Now, what words are connecting the sentences, the ones that have the bold-face part? So you can pause the video if you need to. If you notice, we are using these relative pronouns which and that to connect these clauses. Today we're looking at relative clauses, defining and non-defining. Let's take a look at that. Defining and non-defining clauses are usually connected with a relative pronoun. For example, who, which, where, when, or that. Look at the examples. We love to read about celebrities' problems, which the media will often invent. There are even shows that pay for plastic surgery. Okay, now let's take a look at defining relative clauses and also non-defining. So, first of all, you need to answer these questions. Which relative clause is giving essential information and which relative clause is giving extra information? Pause the video while you think about this. Okay, if you read this first sentence, which the media will often invent is extra information. Therefore, it is a non-defining relative clause. Why? Because this information is not necessary for me to understand the sentence. It is extra, but not essential. In the second one, that pay for plastic surgery, this one is essential because it is answering the question what shows we are talking about. And this is called a defining relative clause because you need it to understand the sentence. Okay, now let's take a look at the first ones. Defining relative clauses. One more time, let's take a look at the sentence. There are even shows that pay for plastic surgery. If I delete the second part, the relative clause, we cannot understand it. So, we can say that defining relative clauses give us information that we need to understand the sentence. They are necessary and we cannot omit them. We can use that or a relative pronoun in defining relative clauses. Take a look at the next version of the sentence. There are even shows which pay for plastic surgery. Other relative pronouns are who, which, where, and when. Of course, they refer to different things. Who refers to people, which for things, where for places, and when for time. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. The relative pronouns cannot be omitted when they are followed by a verb. Look at this. There are even shows that pay for plastic surgery. In this case, if I omit the relative pronoun, in this case that, is not correct There are even shows paid for plastic surgery is not correct. So remember, you need to use a relative pronoun when you have the verb. But they can be omitted when you have a subject after the relative pronoun. For example, the assistant that we met was very kind. In this case, we have a subject, we. Therefore, we can omit it. The assistant we met was very kind. Here, this sentence is correct. Okay, let's continue now. With non defining relative clauses, let's take a look at the sentence. We love to read about celebrities' problems, which the media will often invent. If I erase the relative clause, we can still understand the sentence. Maybe it is not giving me as much information, but it is a sentence that it is easy to understand. So we can say that non-defining relative clauses give us extra information or information that is not really needed to understand the sentence. When we introduce this information in a non-defining relative clause, we use a comma. And sometimes the non-defining relative clause can be in between clauses, so there can be one essential clause, one non-defining, and then one essential, and then you're going to use two commas, okay? Now let's continue. These non-defining clauses cannot be reduced. We love to read about celebrities' problems, comma, which the media will often invent. Take a look at the next version. We love to read about celebrities' problems, comma, the media will often invent. In this case, is not correct because we didn't use the relative pronoun. So remember, in non-defining, we have to use it. And we cannot use that in non-defining relative clauses. Okay, excellent. Now let's practice. Let's go to the workbook on page 10, exercise A. Here, you're going to read some sentences and you need to decide if the information in bold is essential or is it extra. Write D for defining or essential information, and N for non-defining or extra information. If you have a non-defining relative clause, you need to add commas. Write them where you need it. For example, let's do number 1. I can't stand magazines that are full of ads. If we omit the part that says that are full of ads, can we understand the sentence? No, right? Because I can't stand magazines. What magazines? Sport magazines, celebrity magazines, history magazines. So then it is necessary. So we are going to write letter D. Let's take the next one. Fashion magazines, which are really mostly about shopping, usually have the most ads. In this case, which are really mostly about shopping, is it defining or is it non defining? Essential or extra? Let's read the sentence without it. Fashion magazines usually have the most ads. Can we understand it? Yes, right? So in this case, which are really mostly about shopping, is a non defining clause because this information is just extra. We know that fashion magazines are usually about shopping. And then we need to add commas. Where are you going to write them? That's right, we're going to write them before our relative pronoun which and after we finish the clause. Fashion magazines, comma, which are really mostly about shopping, comma, usually have the most ads. Great job. Now pause the video and work on the rest. Okay, excellent. Let's check. Number 3. The celebrities who are always in the gossip magazines don't really interest me. In this case is a defining clause. Why? Because I needed to understand what celebrities don't interest me. Good theater actors who never get as famous as movie actors deserve more attention. This is a non defining. Good theater actors deserve more attention. I don't need the part in the middle. It's good, it's extra, but it's not essential. There, you should have written your commas before and after the relative clause. 5. I really enjoy reading about celebrities and the charity work. What charity work? The one they do, so it is defining. When I buy music magazines, I'll usually buy the ones which have a free CD. In this case, one is also defining because what magazines do you buy? The ones with the free CD. Very good. The magazine I like the most is about art and culture. In this, one more time, we have a defining relative clause. Very good. Now let's continue working in our workbook, page 10, this time exercise B. Here, we are going to complete the conversations using who, that, or which. If it's possible to leave the pronoun out, you can write it in parentheses. There is more than one correct answer in some of the options. Let's work on part 1. I am looking for a TV show could help me improve my listening skills in English. In this case, are we talking about a defining or non-defining clause? Yeah, it's a defining clause. So, we can use the word that. Is that the only one that we could use? Alright, we could use which because we're talking about TV shows. Now, if you notice, here we have to write it is not just optional because we have a modal verb, could, so we don't need a parenthesis. Let's take a look at the next one. I think maybe sitcoms are often about everyday life. Here, eh, is it a defining or a non-defining? It's a non-defining clause, very good. So, in a non-defining clause, remember you cannot use the relative pronoun that, only who or which in this case. Since we're talking about sitcoms, we're going to be using which. Very good. I think maybe sitcoms are best for that. Check out the two I watch. Was it nice at 8 and 8:30 on channel 2? Here we're going to use that or which. Why? Because these are defining clause. Check out the two that I watch, which I watch. But since we have a subject and not a verb, the subject I, these pronouns are optional. Okay, now you can pause your video and work on conversations 2, 3, and 4. Okay, excellent, guys. We're going to check this exercise during our class. I will see you then. Bye bye.